Hello everyone, I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark.
Hi, everybody!
And this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back, and happy Saturday. It is the weekend, so we know what that means. Dark roast with a little bit of stevia, which I'm lukewarm about. I think I like Splenda better. And sugar-free, sweet cream Italian, coffee mate stuff. It's good. It's a nice change. I usually get vanilla or something. So I hope everyone's well, everyone's safe. Follow public health protocols in your region. Um, this is just going to go on and on and on. So let's just take this 20 to 30 minutes to do something a little more mindless than that, okay? So, we are going to pick up where we left off with our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, the Daily Chantal, Chantopolis, and now Foodie Beauty again. So, where we left off, she was doing a couple lives last week. There was a mukbang that was with Pete's that was, I thought, rather disgusting. About a third of the screen was boxes. Uh, there was also an Eat Like the 50s video, which I kind of have to say, of all the stuff she puts out, these decade videos I kind of like. I don't know how true to form they are. I don't fact check it all the time. But they're not bad. So there was another one of those. Now, for this week, there was a live that was deleted. I didn't see. I didn't hear any hoopla anywhere. And overarching theme this week, I thought there was a disproportionate, per her usual content, amount of lives. There was 3 out of what I think was only 6 videos that I covered this week since last time. And there was one little thing I want to say, because she did do a recipe by Simply Sarah, and I have a thought on her doing that. So let's just pick up where we left off. Random Saturday vlog. So this came out in the afternoon after the last Saturday that we did. It's her patio view. Now, if you've seen Chantal's bedroom and then the view into the patio is about the size of our deck. You know, it's madness. It's all madness. I just saw that fall. Oh well. So
Oh, no.
it fell. Spent 10 minutes looking for it, and it fell in the background. You want to fix it?
They can't see me, right?
No, they can't see you.
Okay. Is that good?
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. On the spirit of madness. So she's on her porch, which essentially is the AC unit. She has a chair next to it, and there's a couple square feet in front of her. It looks so uncomfortable, that area. I mean, she's not a shot at her size. It's just a narrow area. She's freaking wedged between the air conditioner and the railing or the wall. But she goes out for some coffee and fresh air, and this is very much a day in the life. A lot of minutia going on in this. There's about 5 minutes of cat footage in the beginning of the video. Her cats are mentioned a lot, shown a lot this week as well. Lunch, she has a lean cuisine. I was stunned.
A lean cuisine?
Yes, a lean cuisine. And she gave it fair reviews. It was interesting as I'm watching it. I was talking to Mark, because Mark's a lean cuisine junkie. And I'm thinking, lean cuisines hover between 200 and 300 calories, tops. She could eat 6 of those a day and lose weight. 6. I mean, that comes in 1,800 calories, and she's admittedly a close to 400-pound woman, give or take. So, even a rough mathematics-based eating plan could put her at eating quite a few of those and losing weight. Now, granted, I wouldn't want to eat them, because I can't think of 6 I like. But that's just me. But it was interesting to get her take on it, as a foodie, I guess. So, Pete and Chantal were going to go for groceries. She comes back and bakes a steak. It reminds me of like Salisbury steak or Swiss steak my dad used to make. It was like just steak, usually cheap, drowned in tomatoes and cooked slowly, either on the stovetop or in the oven. And it kind of shreds. It can get a little dry though, which is weird, you think, when you cook it like that. But and then she opens a package from Amazon. It's just day-to-day stuff. Something for her next period mukbang. Pete's, a few things. One, I like Pete's better with longer hair. I don't like this short hair on him. I like him better with his trench coat mafia, long, scary hair. I just think it's a look. It might not be a great look, but it's a look, and it was his, and I liked it better. I don't like that she cut it. I hope it was his idea, not hers, because he shouldn't be told what to do. Just saying. Also, he's filling out. He's filling out in the stomach since they've moved in together. Granted, prior to this, there wasn't a lot of walking around. You would sit and watch them eat in the car. But he looks like he's filling out in the middle. Now, A third part. Overhead lighting on a patio is pretty lousy. Everybody would look a little older and a little fatter, probably under that lighting. So, we'll grant that. But he looks different since moving in. I wonder where that'll go. And roughly 50% of this video was about cats, because there was more talking about her pets later. So, next, live. Live hangout at the Bizwa. So, my policy generally with lives is this. I'll watch the first few minutes of it, and then skip, stop, see what she's talking about. Few more minutes, skip, stop, see what she's talking about. This means sometimes I have to go hunting for important points, if there were any that were mentioned, or going into the comments of her videos and seeing what people said, but she scrubs them, so if there's something unflattering, I don't always find it. But for this one, first she's giving me hungry fat chick vibes, with the bangs she cut for herself, and just something in the way her makeup's done and the dangly earrings. I'm feeling hungry fat chick vibes. And she starts off saying, "What's with the news anymore? It's all such negative shit." It's been like this for months. It's a pandemic. Come move to the United States and we'll talk about living in shit. We're not batting 1,000 here at the moment, okay?
We're not.
Mark and I have been well this whole time, thank God. We're safe, our family's safe. Mark and I were fortunate to be still employed. Things would be very different if we weren't. So we've managed, frankly, just fine. We've been fortunate throughout this period. But you don't have to look hard to find somebody who's suffering probably a lot worse than us. So, or we're not suffering at all, actually. Someone who is suffering and having a hard time with it. So, yeah, there's a lot of shitty news going on right now. Every once in a while you see a hope shot story, like the one about Joe Biden working with a kid with a stutter. Like, that's cute. But pair that against the scrolling side marquee on the news that says how many hundreds of thousands of people are currently sick, dead, or dying. So, it's tough, But that doesn't mean don't watch the news. That just means don't obsess about the news, I think. So she said she basically popped some THC pills, got herself painted up, and put on a live. Well, go ahead. Skip ahead a little more. Somebody asks, why do people always ask what I think of Amber Lynn Reid? Chantal never misses a chance to put herself right next to Amber Lynn Reid. When it comes to, when we're at a point where we're talking about fat shaming, Chantal will say, why do people always put me and Amber Lynn Reid together? When Amber got her very serious cancer diagnosis, Chantal was like, yeah, we already spoke. She made it sound like she was one of the first people she told. So Chantal makes it seem like they have a close sort of, not relationship, but that they know each other more than just you're on YouTube and I'm on YouTube. So Chantal smacks them together and then acts surprised when people say, well, what do you think of her? She doesn't act like they're strangers. I don't know. She doesn't know what kind of cat her cat is, Sam. No big deal. Bandit's half Maine Coon and half love bug. I don't know. So she took some THC pills, like I said. And then somebody was asking about what she was going to eat. And she said she was bad and ordered a bunch of Burger King. Didn't film it, no mukbang, but a binge. And she said it was more of a binge because it was more food than she would normally eat. And again reiterated her position that mukbangs, that amount of food, however large it may look to some of us or not, doesn't count as a binge, because this was more food. So what she said she ordered, and it was a large amount of food. It was a Whopper, I think with cheese, 20 of their nuggets, which I like McDonald's better, but why split hairs with a foodie? A chicken sandwich, extra mayo, and a poutine, which I guess they have at Burger King in Canada. And she ate it all. I would square that against the 3 McDoubles, the chicken sandwich, the large fries that all went down too. That's quite a bit of food as well. But the only difference was that the camera was on. So I don't know that it's a very blurry line, which she knows, which has caused turmoil for her in the past between my pocketbook, my sanity, and my health, and depending on where she's at in her head, she'll sort of go any direction. It seems to always go back towards, F it, I'll eat what I want and I can make money for doing it. That's, she'll get on a tangent of maybe life is more than this, but then she forgets it and goes back to this. At any rate. So that was that. Someone addressed her rolling her eyes at Pete's. I notice her doing it all the time. And she says, yeah, we get aggravated at each other. He's very passive-aggressive. Very, very passive-aggressive, even though I really like Pete's. And she, mostly what I notice, because all you see is what's on camera, at least that's what I can guess, is she'll be talking and eating. and burping and farting, which there was quite a bit of this week as well. And he'll be telling some story, God bless him, about anime and Powerpuff Girls or something, and he's really into it, and she's looking at the camera like, yeah, wow, totally. And then he'll go off on like Jeff Bezos or Google, and she's looking at it like, they pay me, shut up. So it's funny. It's funny. She talks about not traveling, possibly. She was going to go to, I guess, Punta Cana or the Dominican Republic, and she's concerned about going. She's too fat to go. But she lays out some other concerns. She does mention maybe going to Jamaica to see her aunt, because she has closer ties to her aunt, and her aunt knows her way around. Still, the part of traveling that involves traveling, it might not be bad getting around Jamaica, but getting to Jamaica could be a challenge. So, her journey. And, let's see, she thought about cutting out fast food completely because, it's just too hard. It's ingrained in our Western culture. So, society's victim, Now, I will give her this. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, advertising. And people say advertising doesn't work, commercials don't work. Nobody would spend billions to target market to you if those things didn't work. To me, if they didn't work. Hello, the tobacco lobby, I'm their bitch. All right? I get it. I understand how this works. And that I bend over and take the prone position to it. But she's doing the same thing here with food. Kind of saying, well, we're just awash in this, and there's nothing I can do about it. Any of us who have fixations that are being thrust upon us by advertising or PR or anything on like that, once we know that that's what's happening and that we have an awareness that we're being manipulated or an awareness that we're being coerced, we can then do something about it. If you're just a mindless idiot that thinks, oh no, this food's good for us, I saw it on TV, well then you're an idiot and consequences happen. But when you understand what's happening, you own those consequences. I own mine, she will own hers. But to say, well, Western culture is just awash with diet this and this, that, and who knows what's right, and you can lose yourself in the confusion. Well, were you a casualty of that, I guess? I don't know. Next, another live. Live, lunch, and drive. So she's waiting for her food for like 30 minutes, and she gets some sushi, because somebody else was mukbanging it, and she thought it was cool. She's just like the rest of us, smaller channels, bigger channels. You see content, someone else has it, they do well, you decide you want to do it. It's not anything grand. It's not like sneaky small channel shit. And she does it later too. So, she says she hurt her tongue while chewing on a vitamin gummy, and then follows that up with a burp because, she was talking about going to have to get her blood work done. She still has clots, which she hasn't mentioned, but she had a round of physical health problems before she found something else to get attention for. And it was the clots. She already had the hysterectomy. She had the wound in her back that still needed packing. Other stuff that she had going on. So she does have to go for routine blood work for one of many or any of these problems. And it was too long of a wait, so now she's going to have someone come to her home to do it. It's a little pricier, but would it be worth it for me? Maybe. I'm not calling her lazy. I might do it too. I mean, I go to my pharmacy to get my meds. They deliver, but I figure old people get them delivered and people who aren't mobile, so I won't do that. I can get there, I'll get them. But so she's going for a drive through Canada. It's rural Canada. I like these drives. Talking about the cats. You can't get away. Footage of the cats. Talking about the cats. Practicing songs to sing to the cats. Wow, I get it. My baby is my heart and soul. Where the hell is he? He can't stand me. I like him anyway. It's okay. I have a similar relationship with a few YouTubers I follow. They don't like me. I really like them, though, so it's okay. Pete and Chantal are going to get back onto walking for exercise. Apparently, again, we're skipping through the live here because I'm just a man. And they want to get back on that. Maybe not go for late walks because maybe it doesn't feel safe or whatever. I don't know how safe I'd feel with Pete's. I mean, I'm no alpha, but I look like a lumberjack, I think, compared to Pete's. And not just for the shirt today. Ideas for new videos that she's throwing out. Anime mukbang. These were the viewers. Like, what kinds? Like, Titanic mukbang. Medieval mukbang, like at medieval times. Donner Party Crossing mukbang. I don't know what the fuck else people were coming up with. But at any rate, she starts singing again about the cat. Someone entered the chat who said they slept over her house as a kid. I don't know. She didn't cut the chat short, so she let it fly. And Mark said she looks terrible without makeup. So that was the end of that. Eating like it's the 80s. I was actually looking forward to this.
I was too.
Mark was very much looking forward to this. And this was not actually disappointing. Only in one piece was it slightly disappointing, and I'm not even that mad at her about it. So it was a very cool opening. She looked like, her words, the fat goth girl from South Park. Okay, she called herself looking like that later in the video. Cool opening. She sings a really odd medley of 80s songs. She's got the Madonna circa 80s thing going on. Sprayed hair, the makeup. Chantal does a decent face of makeup, I think. And I don't like the green screen, though. A little of that goes a long way. I don't think you need a green screen for every single thing. And I get the backdrop. It was the cassettes. It was cool, but she was very up close. Not only was she live a lot this week, I felt like she was very close. Uncomfortably close. Like, social distance. 6 feet. That includes the camera, I think.
My space, your space.
Yes. You've got to hold the frame. Like Dirty Dancing, this is my dance space, this is your dance space, okay? So at any rate, she gets some 80s food, which is like SpaghettiOs, kind of. She finds something similar. Bagel Bites, Cool Ranch, Doritos, and Diet Coke. Tab, I remember, my great aunt, because I was born in 82, so I was 8 years old when the 80s ended. But I live in an area that's about 30 years back in time. You could still find crispy bangs around here, and mom mullets. It's not that hard to get to. You could still find Tab in the supermarkets. The pink can, and I think it's sweetened with saccharin. It's not aspartame or Splenda. It was gross, but it's very 80s, so, but it is hard to find. And she has that wooden spoon. I guess it's a mukbanger thing. I remember seeing a clip once of Trisha Paytas eating Easy Mac or Velveeta shells and cheese with a spoon like that. I don't get the appeal. I don't know. I guess anything is an art if you want it to be, but... So she talks about the the dark side of the 80s, and the invention of the yuppie, and commercialism and materialism, and, you know, one-upping the neighbors, and keeping up with the Joneses, and all that kind of stuff. And that's what she refers to as the dark side. She also mentions horror movies and the horror genre, which came out, and those are some of a lot of people's favorite movies, too, especially all the long series that came out in the 80s slasher movies and things like that. I tend to watch those kind of movies on cable because I am squeamish. So I do not watch them on usual DVDs. I don't like to watch a lot of blood and gore. I like suspense, but not some of the other stuff. Though I do like The Shining. Shining is good. She said she didn't follow a lot of political stuff. She doesn't usually, so she didn't look too much into that. That, you know, a lot happened in the 80s. Like, AIDS kind of went on. Everything leading up to the Berlin Wall coming down, a lot of that happened. So there were some other political things that did go on. And social things. You know, AIDS was politicized, but stuff like that went on during the 80s. And that was just, you know, US, global news. There was other stuff. But this was a fun video. So even though she said she didn't acknowledge that stuff, not those things specifically, not that she doesn't care, she just didn't include it in the video. Was it lazy? I'm not that mad at her. It was a light video. So, talked about 80s music, gave particular attention to Madonna, and then she started singing Safety Dance, which is my least, no joke, no drama, no big gay drama here, least favorite song ever. Safety Dance is my absolutely least favorite song ever. Ever. So now we're going to go into something that a lot of us get accused of doing. Simply Sarah mac and cheese mukbang and recipe. Now, using a bigger YouTuber's name and putting it in the title at the hope of getting attention off somebody else's name and trying to get views is something many of us small channels and those who do reviews and reactions get accused of often. Now, when it's all looked at in proportion, Chantal has about 78,000 viewers. Simply Sarah has about 200,000 viewers. So she swings up the same way the rest of us do when it's trying to draw attention to ourselves by using another creator's content, and she uses some of Sarah's footage, just a hair, but some, to draw attention to ourselves. And we pull from another person's content and try to make a piece of it our own. She remade Sarah's recipe. and then sat there and ate about a third of it. A third of the pan of mac and cheese. And it looked delicious. I'm not mad at her. I mean, I'd probably overeat on it too. But, so, just saying is all. It's been done. People do it. It's not about people doing it. It's about being self-righteous about other people doing it. I think that's the thing. You know,
Yeah.
I hear Mark in there agreeing. So.
Yeah, I agree. This is the my only point with that is that this is coming
He has
from
opinions.
the woman who called out people for using her name in their titles
To get views.
and got very upset about it.
She did one time called "I'm Just Like Eugenia Cooney." Eugenia Cooney weighs about 40 pounds and has what appears to be some sort of underlying condition that makes her extremely thin.
Oh.
Could be mental, could be physical. I don't delve that far into it, and is hugely popular. Chantal's nothing like her.
No.
Enough to use her name in the title of a video, though. I mean, hate the game, not the player, but don't act holier than thou about it. So, anyway, again, she gave a disclaimer for this. If you don't like food sounds, chewing sounds, eating sounds, farting sounds, burping sounds, as if all these have to be in one lump. You can't take some without the other. There it goes. So, she's thinking of doing possibly a regular series where she makes different kinds of mac and cheese. She's gotta be high. Who would think that was... I don't think that's a good idea. You know why it's not a good idea? I'd watch it, and I don't watch shit with a lot of views. So I don't think it's a good idea for her. It's a great idea for me. I'd love to watch it, but I don't think it's a good idea for her. And something else, and this is a question for those of you who are familiar with the mukbang community, because I'm not. And different... Is it a thing for feeders or for just fans of mukbangs? Because I understand that not everyone who watches a mukbang is a feeder, though they're there. Is eating the food when it's way too damn hot part of the experience? It's like she only waited 5 minutes for something that was in the oven for an hour to come out and eat it, and and it was too hot and she was burning herself. Like, what? Is that part of the gig? Is that part of the turn on? Is that part of the show? Can she just not wait 15 more minutes before she can eat it? Or does that build I don't know. Is there relevance to eating food that is too damn hot in a mukbang? Or is it just an impatient creator? That's basically the question I think I have.
Good question, and I have a question. What about the wooden spoon?
It's a thing, I think.
It is a thing?
I don't know. I've seen a few people doing it.
Oh, okay.
Looks ridiculous. That looks like the spoon, and there was a matching fork that was wood that, like, came with the wooden salad bowl.
My grandmother had them hanging on the wall.
Yeah, my grandmother did too, the wooden spoon and fork. You think you'd use it to toss a salad, but it never came off the wall.
Right.
It never came off the wall. Alright. And another green screen. No big fan of the green screen, but it's okay. She tells a creepypasta horror story about a hotel. I was dipping in and out, but, you know, you can look that story up yourself. Her makeup was running. Because the food was so hot, she was crying. Again, somebody make sense of that for me. Please. Please. 6. Another live. Live, drive, lunch, Thai food. Okay. So she's over these bangs she cut. She's just acting like that didn't happen. She's just pushing them into her hairline at this point. 10 minutes sitting in the car, left the camera running, went in and got food. And she's kind of hyper. Kind of hyper. I'm doing all this with my glasses, aren't you proud? I'm probably half cross-eyed. So she starts talking about why she's so happy today. And she's like, oh right, I took my happy pill. Now this leads me to think of one of two things. One, she's back on Vyvanse, which makes her act like she's on speed. And she's saying she's been having anxiety. The Vyvanse gave her anxiety. Of course, the Vyvanse also killed her appetite, which doesn't explain this, you know, happy heifer goes on an eating tour type thing. So it's possible she's on an antidepressant, because she had mentioned that in the past too. But she's also taking edibles. Now, I am not high and mighty about using recreational drugs that are legal and taking prescription meds. I'm not of the school of thought that they mix. However, if starting a new medication for whatever symptoms that you have, and it's a psych med, taking drugs at the time you're starting them blurs the symptoms, blurs the side effects, and blurs the benefits. So, not a doctor and not a professional, only lived through some of those things myself, Steve, if it were me, would probably think, let me try these medications standalone first. Then if I want to experiment with recreational anything, have a cocktail, smoke whatever, then I will do that. But it can mix. It's hard to identify if something's working or not if there's other stuff coming in and out of the system. So I'm not saying say no to whatever. I'm saying hang on a minute and see how we feel first, maybe. That would be in Steve's world. That's how things would go. Just a guess. Also, sometimes medications can reveal another underlying illness. When I was put on antidepressants, all of a sudden it exploded me into a full manic episode, and lo and behold, I started getting treated for a different illness than depression, and I started getting better. Who knew? Took a while, but, we get there. So, 40 minutes of driving. And it wasn't pretty driving. It was like 2-lane concrete crap. Driving. Nonstop. She said she wasn't in the mood for fast food. I'm guessing the Burger King is still lingering with her. And she said she used to really not like mukbangs. But now she loves them. And she said she had tried it, I guess, when she was relatively new, and there was one trending. And she did it, and that's it. The rest was herstory. So, I don't know. What did I make a note here of? Something important. Oh yeah, she scratched her stomach. That was kind of, I don't know, stomach's itch. But I had my head down taking notes and I heard a noise and I thought it was Bandit scratching in the box. And it was her scratching her stomach. A couple people walk by. Again, live stream, so we're jumping around. And she is curious if they see the walker in the back of her car. To which she then says, "I'm not ashamed." Whatever. Why would you drive to an isolated place to go eat in your car? I don't think it's even the eating in the car. I think it's the eating in the car and talking to nobody that maybe embarrasses her a little bit. Otherwise, I mean, when I used to drink, I would, occasionally drink in the car. There's 2 or 3 or 4 videos you can watch on my channel that talks about my history with alcohol, drugs, getting arrested, all that kind of stuff. And drinking in the car was something that I used to do, and especially it would be somewhere to go and hide it. And I wouldn't drive into Walmart 2 spots from the front of the store and sit there and drink those mini bottles. She wouldn't do the same to go eat either. Why? Because she's ashamed. It's embarrassing. It's very embarrassing. If it wasn't embarrassing, your eyes wouldn't be darting around all the time looking to see who's looking, This false pride crap. Give me a break. So, let's see. Did they see the walker? I'm not one of those people desperate for affection. She's talking about relationships at the very end of this. So she's not desperate for affection. She can hold out. And I have booty calls I can call, because she's still got it. And then she follows that up with that she hasn't talked to any one of them in years. So, I've got booty calls from years ago I could call. I don't know how old they'd be now. They'd be old. I haven't had a booty call in years and years and years. God, I was probably in my early 20s. 15 years ago. It's been 15 years since I could just call somebody up. Now it's probably on, there's probably Uber for that, too. So what is the overall theme this week? Lives. Lives. Lives, I can tell you as a creator, such that I'm a creator and Mark and I are creators, are less work as a creator. She even says in one of these, this is today's video, because all it involves is filming. It uploads itself. You can go back and add ads. It does it for you a lot of the time. You can pick a thumbnail or it'll choose the thumbnail. It looks like she's just pulling thumbnails right out of it. And it's easy. It's not much work. I'm guessing she stacks up some super chats because every so often she'll say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then you monetize it and put it up for some views and, it's good to go. You don't need to set it up. You don't need to do a lot of lighting. You don't need to do a lot of other stuff. You just get in your car, drive to a restaurant, eat and drive home, and kabam, you got a video. So, her channel, her content, if she can make the same amount of money and it gets her out of the house, Chantal is not probably going to change anytime soon. The content may change soon, but is she? So if this is how she wants to roll, I guess it's how she wants to roll. So we'll see. But lives are they're not for everybody. Like the live hangout at the Bizwa, 18,000 views. The live drive-in lunch tie from yesterday, 19. It's not, there's another 15,000 to 20,000 views on the other videos. Even if they're not mukbangs, where she just talks and eats even, or not eats at all. So she'll play with those and she'll see. She'll come out with something new. Maybe it'll be the mac and cheese extravaganza. I'm hoping it's that, but I'm not optimistic because I don't think she watches my videos. But if you are watching, make the mac and cheese. Make it for me. No one's gonna watch. But that's my silent prayer. So thank you all for watching. We will follow this. We will check in next week and we will see which direction the wagon goes. Your guess is as good as mine. Hopefully there are not as many lives because they are challenging to review. And we'll see. We'll see. So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe. Hit the like button and the bell on your way out to get the alerts. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc, or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc, or on Twitter, our handle is at SmokeySteveA. Our email address and our contact info is all listed down below. Thank you again, and Mark and I will be going live tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you have a chance, please do stop by and say hello. We usually end up dishing about life after caretaking and a little bit about coffee talk and foodie beauty, but 10,000 other things come up too that have nothing to do with gossip and reaction channels. So do feel free to stop by. Thank you for watching. Have a good afternoon. Bye.